Just had my test today and I've passed with 3 faults altogether. I was actually panicking all the way through that test, like shaking, hoping that nothing would go wrong.
How many tests have you actually done?
3 altogether now.
And if we go back to your mock test, there was quite a few faults in that mock test.
Yeah.
We did the first actual test, and I think there was quite a few things that come up there that it was right on them. Would you agree? What about that second test? Tell the viewers about your second test. It was about 2 weeks ago, wasn't it?
Yeah. I had 0 faults, but I had one serious due to my bay parking. I did a reverse bay park and the back wheel was sticking out of the bay, which was actually quite infuriating in a way. I thought that the car was straight, but when she came back in, the examiner, she said like, sorry, you failed, and I thought, oh no. Like, bay parks is just like the easiest thing you could possibly do. It's just a shock. Really.
So you were doing the reverse bay park, yeah?
Yeah.
What was the examiner's reaction? Were they happy to fail you, or?
No, she was not happy at all.
Because the drive was so good. It was a 0 faulter. So that was the first test. So if you've been following the channel, you'll realise I've picked up the new car. It's the Golf GTI Mark 7.5 2018. It was actually the first lesson I did in the car, the first everything, and it was Storm's test. I signed off the 208 GTI the day before and had somebody pass. His name is Jamie. You see his pass photo on my Facebook page, but the examiner weren't happy, was she? Because it was such a good drive, and it goes to show, I'll tell you what that went to show, that if you're a good driver, the car didn't affect you at all, to the point where she got 0 faults. Tell the viewers why you failed that second test. We'll get past all the gloomy bits in a minute and we'll be all celebrated, but what I want to do is help people to learn from your experiences at the same time, before you go off celebrating, driving your dad's Porsche. Why was one tyre only that much on the white paint on your second test? We finished the test with the bay park as well. So Storm's very last action was the reverse park.
Yep.
And it was the last thing that you did really that was the failure. What didn't you check when you was beginning to manoeuvre for accuracy?
Actually, I didn't use my mirrors as much. I didn't realign
Which ones
them.
particularly?
Because we went on the right, I didn't use the right mirror.
Door mirror, yeah?
Yeah, the right door mirror. I didn't lower it down for guidance.
Yeah.
Which is actually quite a bad thing to do. So like, if you do bay parking, remember to move your mirrors. Whichever side you go, remember to move your mirrors. Because it is horrible when you've known deep down that you haven't done it right with your mirrors and you won't be able to realign them again.
Yeah. What, the examiner said something to you that you didn't know, which you found quite interesting or useful?
Yeah.
What was that? If you want to, if you're not sure.
If you're unsure about the way the car's positioned in the bay or even parallel parking, you could go out, as long as you secure the car, put the handbrake up and make sure that nothing's going to happen. You can step out and walk around the car. Yeah. So you know like where the car is, and if you need to make any adjustments, then you can just do it.
That's it, yeah. So as I said, I mean, really, ideally, it shouldn't get to that. And the thing was, I just want to clear this up as well. You don't have to set your door mirror down, but you can, and it's, you know, it can be useful. I do sometimes. It depends how much space I've got. You know, if you're far enough away from the lines, you can normally see it. When you first start your steering and put a bit of steer on to start reversing, if you look early enough, you can see it without putting the mirrors down. But it's no bother if you do, to be fair. What manoeuvre did you get, Storm, on this test?
Parallel parking.
Parallel park. Any emergency stop?
No. Thank God, in a way.
Did you follow sat-nav?
Yeah, I followed sat-nav for 20 minutes.
And what did you find the most tricky part of your test?
I'd say keeping up with traffic on the dual carriageway.
Yeah? Yeah,
because I was just like panicking in a way, thinking, am I going to overtake this lorry? What if I miss my exit? And what if I go over the speed limit as well? Yeah, so all I decided to do was back off from the car in front and then move back into the left-hand lane.
Yeah, because your exit was coming up. It weren't terribly close.
No.
But that was part of the feedback at the end. The examiner had 3 bits for you.
Yeah.
Would you mind sharing these with the viewers so that they could potentially learn from them?
One was the change in speed, the use of mirrors when I was about to pull off, where they tell you to stop and pull up on the left. I checked my mirrors just as I was parking up, when really you should be looking before you even put your foot on the brake or put your indicator on. The second one was the following distance on the dual carriageway. I was too close to the lorry in front and you wouldn't have been able to see me.
And that's what we were just talking about, in terms of following the sat-nav planning. And you absolutely did the correct thing in moving in. It's just what you then didn't do. What should you have then done? So yes, you pulled in behind, you were a bit close initially. What should you have then done?
Backed off, so that increased the gap between the car and the lorry in front.
And then would the lorry have been able to see you? There you go.
Yeah.
What's the minimum following distance? I made a video on this the other day. Only a full breaks the 2-second rule.
Yeah, 2 seconds as the minimum following distance, and it increases if the weather changes. So it's 10 times more if it's icy, and I believe 2 times more if it's wet.
Quick question for you then. You were following a vehicle. Did you count? Did you say, right, Storm, only a full break? Did you do that?
Nope, I did not do that.
Right, so there's one for you. Anything else we could share with these lovely subscribers here?
Meeting, so like judgment. So when to go, I think it was on the roundabout. I think it was. Yeah, there was like, she said there was a white car coming towards us and there was a grey car that just went and we went between them two. Yeah.
Was it roundabout?
I think it was the roundabout. Yeah,
meeting, it was meeting.
Yeah.
She said a meeting situation where you squirrels through and it would have been preferable to hold back.
I've got to get used to reading this.
Sorry?
I've got to get used to reading this.
So at the moment, Storms, I mean, I completely understand that you might get those mixed up because the feeling, what's the feeling right now, having done all this? I mean, how many hours have we done? We've done quite a few, haven't we?
Definitely over 100.
We've not together, have we?
No.
But have you?
About 50.
About 50?
Yeah, it feels like about 50, but...
Yeah, I've not been counting, to be honest.
No.
And I don't think you should count. I think the training is what it needs.
Yeah.
You know, I had somebody the other week say I'm deciding how many lessons to buy. But unless you've got private practice, you know, you need to be safe enough for by the time you pass your test, or whatever training that takes, really. You know, so it is awkward for younger people, I know, because you've got to have the budget for it, the time, you know, and the desire to do it. I think a real desire, and you know, not your parents pushing you, or not you're doing it because you've got to do it for work. Storm, talking about desire, you've got a bit of a passion for driving. Tell us a little bit more about that.
Since I was young, I've always liked seeing people driving around. Like, I've used to always go in the car with my parents every time they went out, because like the joy of just being in a car was just like amazing. So I've decided now to, after my apprenticeship, to go into becoming a driving instructor.
Sign on the dotted line. Joking.
Definitely sign on
right
that.
Now you're all going to think, everybody watching's going to think that I've converted you. I don't know, I mean, you said it to me first, I didn't say it to you. And what gave you the idea? Just
like not being in a building all day. That's the thing. I don't like even school's like too much. Like, you're just in a building for how long? 9 to 5. Like, it's just too much. And actually you could be outside teaching somebody to drive, and that's like just like so good.
The freedom and the feeling is unbelievable. Like, I am in control of my own life 100%, no ifs, no buts. It's great. And not just that, you know, you can earn a decent whack. You're also interested in becoming an examiner as well, aren't you? Sort of anything sort of related to that. But like I said to you, if you want to get together and make a video, you know, we could do. I mean, tell me if you'd like this. We could make a video, Storm, 6 months on after passing, or 1 year later, or you know. We could even document your training should you still decide that's what you'd like to do. I'd like to think that you'd come train with myself. There's loads of trainers out there though, but anyway, this is not about that. But I thought we'd just touch on that, just let everybody know, because it seems to be a lot more younger people sort of taking it up, and you know, you see a lot of older people doing it, really, sort of more towards retirement age. And you can be 21 to do it, and you just have to held a license for 3 years. So yeah, and you was talking to the examiner on the way around, weren't you, about it all? So I sat in the back on the test. It's very spacious in the back, by the way. I can see everything, really. It's quite nice. It's got loads of leg room. So, so Storm, how have you got any final words of advice for anybody taking their tests?
I'd say, like, don't overthink it. That's what I did on my other 2 tests. I overthought of everything. I thought, like, oh, I'm gonna do this wrong, I'm gonna do that wrong, and it actually does come to pass if you overthink things. Also, like, practice your maneuvers. If you haven't touched them after a couple of weeks, I'd say go out and practice. And also, like, try and keep a cool head as well when you're doing your test. Don't panic like I did today. Like, you try, like, if you shake too much, which I did today, like, you kind of feel like you're losing control of the car. So I'd say just try and keep a cool head throughout the test as well.
Thank you. Because you said, didn't you, when we finished, you said to me, you said, I felt like...
Yeah, I felt like I made too many mistakes, about 30 mistakes, like way too many.
So, and actually, that's totally the opposite to what was going on in
the
examiner's mind, perhaps? So, yeah, interesting stuff there. Any advice for anybody looking for a driving instructor as well? Now, obviously, we made that video. If you're not sure what video we're on about, I think I called the video, I Wasn't Learning Anything, 40 hours later. I think it was something like that. Because you started training with myself after you'd already done a number of hours. Yeah. Just for those who haven't seen the video, just briefly just go over that for us, if you wouldn't mind.
With my previous instructor, I was doing about 40 hours with them, and the last 5 hours that I had with them, I was just doing one thing, which was my mirrors, driving at night time using my mirrors. And I got it down on the first lesson, but I still went over and did the same thing for the last 4 hours. So I decided to end with that instructor, and I looked online and I found Mapped and Go To Driving School was in the top, like, 3 best schools in Derby. And I had a look at the website and everything, and I knew straight away that I should go with Matt. So I called him and rearranged a date, and since then it's been successful.
Yeah, I'm going to say, I was going to ask you, thank you for that. And is there anything I could be doing differently, or to improve my service? I am open to not criticism, constructive feedback. I've given myself loads this morning, because I did a lesson and I was like, you could have done this better, this shouldn't have been like this, and I'm having a go at myself because I've reflected. Is there anything I could have done better for you, or different for anybody else in future, do you feel?
I wouldn't say there's anything better, I'd just say carry on with what you're doing, because it's actually really effective.
Thank you.
I learned about 5 things in 2 hours. That's like something I never knew I could do.
Yeah.
That's a shocking thing.
Was it the last 5 hours that made you decide to leave that other driving school then, or was it the whole thing as a whole?
It was not just that. Like, I did my lessons at 7 o'clock at night, and it didn't help over winter because it was like dark. We went down country roads, and I finished at 9 because the lessons were 2 hours long, and it didn't help because I had that during the school week as well. Yeah. So it wasn't really helpful at all, really.
Okay. Storm, finally, what will you be doing to celebrate such an achievement? She's actually passed with 3 FAULTS, by the way, is that right? Yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah, just to clear that up. What will you be doing to celebrate?
Probably, well, I won't really be celebrating tonight. I'll be celebrating tomorrow, so I'll be going for a test drive in my dad's Porsche. He's given me that opportunity, thank God.
All right.
Yeah, it's only for a couple of minutes, but I was planning to record it anyway.
How long have we been here? Maximum stay 30 minutes. We've not been here 30 minutes, have we?
Well, that's 16.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah. Oh, that's all right. Yeah. Right, carry on, yeah.
So I'm test driving my dad's Porsche tomorrow, and also going out to buy a car as well tomorrow.
What car are you looking
at? Vauxhall Corsa, Volkswagen Up, and Ford Fiesta.
What year roughly we're looking at?
About 2015 plate. Yeah, roughly.
Decent.
Yeah.
So are you, have you looked for any insurance for those cars? Storm's 18, by the way.
Yeah. My dad told me a couple of weeks ago that he's planning to put me on his insurance for the first 3 years until it dies down, and then he'll put me on my own insurance in my name. Yeah. So I get that privilege after 3 years.
Fair enough. So, anything you'd like to add? Any final thoughts, Storm?
I'd say good luck to anybody who's doing their test.
Yeah, I'd say that too. Good luck. And
don't panic either.
yeah, let us know in the comment section.
Yeah.
Comment section when you've smashed your driving test. And also, I was talking about, don't forget to smash the subscribe button, hit the bell so that you're notified of every video I release. Give Storm a thumbs up for passing, and stay tuned for more videos. Cheers, Storm, and I'll see you soon. I'll see you guys very soon as well. Cheers.